Hey guys, Donkey here, and welcome to a little bit of Monster Hunter World. The purpose of this video is to kind of give you guys some beginner's tips on some of the things that maybe I struggled with. If you're jumping into the game, it throws a lot at you, and there are a lot of things that I just did not understand. So with that said, I'm going to go through it real quick, and this isn't going to be like a tutorial or anything like that or a walkthrough. This is more along the lines of just some basic stuff that you might want to look at if you're kind of unclear on what you're supposed to do or things to look at. So if you notice right here, and basically to kind of show you over here, this area, once you get to the past the prologue in the game, you're going to come to this city. Here is a lift. This lift will grant you access to 4 floors. We're on the bottom floor, the trade yard. Right here, you're going to come in when you first enter this area. I'm going to go back to the beginning just to kind of show you so that it makes a little bit more sense. And again, there's just a lot going on. You'll come in through this area here that I'm facing. You'll come into the city and they'll walk you through it, and it's like, whoa, it's a little overwhelming. This right here is a quest board. We'll get back to that in a minute. One of the things that never really stood out, or maybe I missed it in the game, make sure you come over here when you have the ability to do this and talk to this little guy here. What he ends up doing is it's research on monsters that you encounter throughout the game.
Try hard, will you?
And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. And it's really important because you get into this guide, and each one of these monsters, it gives you a breakdown on, you know, the monster's characteristics. And if you go over to the physiology, it shows you what's breakable, what weapons. It shows you the weak point, things that will work and won't work against these monsters, and of course it has the rewards. So I highly suggest coming over here. This is one of the things, again, that wasn't really obvious to me, and it greatly helps you out, especially if you're going after a certain monster or if you're struggling with one, to go through, look at these, kind of research what weapons you need, what type of armor works best for defense against them. And if you notice at the top left, these are large monsters. You can click over and you can go through the other monsters that are just basic monsters you may encounter throughout the game as well. These, you can certainly kill these. You can farm them and it tells you what type of material you'll get over on the right side. Like this one provides raw meat. So just some things to note. Here, aquatic life, there is fishing in the game. You can look at this and see exactly, you know, what you've captured, what it provides to you, so on and so forth. So make sure to check this guy out. Very important. Let's see. The next thing, this is going to be your market area. I suggest coming over here. You can talk to, you know, some of these people here. They'll give you like side quest things you can go on. Right here, you can talk to this guy. He's like a merchant. You can buy stuff from him and or sell. If you notice straight ahead, that's going to be your room. If you're looking to find out where your room is at, this is where it's at. So I would suggest spending some time in here when you first start the game, trying to find out what weapon works best for you. I've tried out several different weapons. In order to do that, you'll come over to this box. Again, a lot of this for me has been trial and error. Go through, hit, not manage. You can change equipment. With changing equipment, if you notice, you have access to all of your basic level type of equipment or armor and weapons in the game. I would go through these, select them. You can also do the same thing for your armor. You'll start out with basic stuff, and as you progress through the game with Monster Hunter, you know, you farm, craft different weapons and materials. But figure out what type of weapon that you might want to use. My suggestion for beginners is to start out with like the dual blades. They're really fast. I find that they're a lot easier to use than some of the other weapons, which are a lot heavier. So you might start out with that, maybe the large sword. But here's your housekeeper. Again, I don't know if it's really evident when you begin the game, but you might want to check this guy out. I recommend coming over talking to your housekeeper. Let me go through the prompts here real quick. Go to your training area. I'm going to do this real quick to show you. Again, this wasn't something that I found out until later. I was like, where the hell's the training area at? I have no earthly idea. And it may have told me through some of the guides. I don't remember. But a lot of the tutorial in the game, the tutorial guides, you can easily just bypass them real quick. And then you may have to go back to them later. And you may not know exactly where to go or what to do. So make sure to pick a weapon that you might want to start out using that's easier for you so that you're not wasting time building up a weapon that you're not going to use. This is the training area. You're going to come in here. Basically, it gives you the ability to test out your weapons. It also shows on the left side the combat. So you're going to want to, as you can see, I have the dual bone blades on right now. And I'm not a very high level character, but yeah, you'll want to come in here, at least get an idea of what you can and can't do with your weapons, what type of charge attacks they have, what type of special abilities. As you can see, I just used like a special ability there. And I also blew myself up. So I would suggest coming here. You want to do this, you want to get an idea, want to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Alright, so out of this area, got to make sure to put my blades back. That's right. We are going back to our room. So we've talked about, where to go to look at information on monsters. Make sure you check out, the lore, the background. We talked about where your room's at. One of the other things you're going to want to do is if you have downloadable content or rewards, it's not very evident or clear how to get some of them. You will do is hit the option button, and we're on the PS4. Not exactly sure how it works on the Xbox One, but you'll hit your options button, and if you notice, it'll have receive items. I've gotten daily rewards, I've gotten downloadable content. You hit receive items and it'll go into a menu and you'll collect those. The other thing you'll want to do, if I'm correct, you talk to your housekeeper and then claim add-on bonuses. So make sure that you do this, and it'll go through, see like all these bonuses. I've already gotten these. As you can tell, it won't let me select any of them, but you'll want to do that as well. Let's see. If you notice, there's money, which is 9,040. It better not be 900. 9,040Z, and then you have points, the 3,010 points. The green points are like research points, and you'll need those if you're going to like build equipment. You'll also need money as well because it goes into research, and there are various other things that you can use those for. Let's see. Going to the workshop. All right, so here's a little bit more in depth with crafting in the workshop. Something again I had to figure out. Once I get there, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But there's a lot. There's a lot going on in the game, and it's one of those that you really have to pay attention, especially if you're a newcomer, because it may not be very upfront.
Hunters of the Fifth, come see me. I've got an urgent quest.
As to what you need to do, where you need to go. So let's talk about, let's go up to the workshop. Workshop is on the second floor, and they'll show this to you in the very beginning, the intro of the game. Takes you right up to the workshop. You got a box right here you can change, which is really cool because you don't have to go down to your room to do this. You can go to change equipment. You can do it right here. I thought that was a very cool little thing that they did, so you again didn't have to go to the room. You over here to the left, this person you can actually buy swords and armor from if you want some basic stuff, or you can come over here and you can actually craft. Now keep in mind that you're going to start out with your basic level type of weapons and armor, so you really don't need to recraft those unless you're going to start out from scratch and rebuild a different path. And you're probably asking, what the hell are you talking about path? Alright, so as you progress through the game, you're going to get skins, claws, teeth, whatever from different monsters as you beat them and then farm them. So you're going to come in here, you can upgrade your equipment. So if you notice, it'll have a nice big fat green E next to everything that I have equipped. So if I want to go in and I want to upgrade my bone helmet, I can go in and add in these spears And basically, as you can see, it increases my defense ability. So that's really important, and if I'm correct, you get these by doing missions and progressing through the game. Now, if you're wanting to forge equipment, goes into this skill tree. So like we're gonna go into my dual blades, right? So you can forge dual blades from scratch. You can forge the basic ones. These are the basic ones that you have in your box. Or if you have the material, you can make bone hatchets. Now if you right click over to skill tree, you'll notice that there are different paths. As you progress, you'll pick up different types of material, and then as you're able to do that, these little icons might blink or light up and let you know, hey, at the bottom you can see it says you cannot, does it say forge this equipment? But if you can, it'll let you know you can forge it. The base level here is going to be your raw output. There are no elemental damage added to, if you see, as you can tell as I'm scrolling over, if you look at the top right, it says no elemental. If you go up here, no elemental. Don't know what that last one is, but I'm assuming it probably doesn't have elemental. But as you move down, like you can see the little fire icon, this would have fire elemental damage to it, so on and so forth. So like in order to farm this specific one, it tells you on the left side what type of monster that I had to beat, and then you collect different types of material for that, and you can farm these. And obviously it says it's water elemental. You can make this item and craft it, and it'll give you the dual blades with water elemental damage. So, but here's the thing: if you're over here and you're wanting to make these down here, you have to get to that point to where you upgrade. Your upgrade path will get you to this point here, so that you can choose either I want to go forward and keep it the standard raw bone hatchet, or I want to make it one of these, predicated on what it is that you're looking to build. You can go back if that's something that you're wanting to do. You can go back and it'll give you the option, which is really cool. It gives you back, you know, the material or some of the material so that you don't lose that, and then you can go back if you have the required material to craft these. So if I click on, it won't let me click on the wish list here. I was hoping that it would, but it will not. If you go under upgrade, I guess because I've already made it, this is where you actually have to do it at, because the other one was forge. So right here, you can see the little icon, see how it's lit up, it's blinking. So if I want to go down here and I want to build this, I can actually unequip what I've already applied to make it the raw bone hatchet and go down to build this one. And I don't want to do that. It's not something, I don't want the elemental damage, but like if you notice over here, if I want to proceed forward, I have two different options with the raw. I can either make it this, whatever this would be, or make it this one. Unfortunately, if you notice, everything in that area is all red and question marks. Apparently I haven't encountered that monster yet, but I have over here, it looks like I got the monster bone M, so I'm assuming M is medium, but I need the boulder bone and then something else. What you can do is hit your wish list icon, and you can assign this over here, and it'll put like the boulder bone over there, and then as you're going through the game, it'll guide you to help find where that's at. So that's something to note if you're looking to build a specific weapon and need material for it. Something else I highly recommend is upgrading your little kitty cat to your palico. So in order to do that, it's something I did not get into. We're going to do that real quick. You go back into the forge and you can go down to forge palico equipment. Very important, because he starts out with standard, he or she starts out with standard stuff, and you're going to want to go through and then add. I love that. Love the bone helmet with the little feather rabbit ears. Trips me out. Looks like a pirate. Actually had a gun on him earlier. But yeah, you want to go through and just make sure that you enhance him as well. You want to spend time on getting them up to par, because they do help you out in the game. As you can see, I got a little blinky icon down there letting me know that I have something else I can farm if I so choose. Oh my god, that is so cool. Look at that. Looks like an Eskimo. You can actually preview the weapons, which I think are really, really neat. You can go through and click on the square button to hit preview, so you can take a look at it and see what it looks like. Oh my god, he's a fluffy kitty cat. Come here, kitty. Anyway, I think it's really, really cool. I mean, you could spend literally hours in here if you have the money and the time to forge. Kinsects wasn't really explained to me either. Kinsects are used with your insect glaive. Basically, you're going to want to make sure to manage those. You can nurture those. You can add elements to those. You can even purchase some. I started out with these two. I believe you start out with those. You'll want to go in and make sure to upgrade those. You can do that by hitting nurture. And then, of course, if you have the money and or materials, you can upgrade them. But they do add different elements, give you different abilities for your insect glaive, which, again, that's a really cool weapon, kind of hard to use. You have to basically send out the Kinsect when you're fighting, and then it brings back certain elements off of the monster that you're able to use to help buff your status. So anyway, that, I think... Oh, let me do something real quick. Let's go into... Hold on. Something else that wasn't explained. So if you open up your map, you press down on your touchpad, you can bring up your map, and then of course you hit the world map, and I believe it explains that. As you can see, I'm not that far into the game. But let's go over here. You can just do like just basic exploration. This is like an expedition. And so you can faint or die as many times as you want, and there's not a penalty for it. But this is really good for farming if you're looking for certain items or certain materials. So let's do this real quick, and I want to show you some things again that really kind of puzzled me. I wasn't positive on, and if you guys are playing the game and it makes sense to you, that's fantastic. But when I was playing, I think I was probably a good 5 hours plus into it, and I was like, how do you do a flare? How do you send an SOS flare? And you're probably asking, well, what is an SOS flare? And they kind of go over a basic tutorial of the SOS, but if you're in game and you're struggling and having trouble, you can throw up an SOS flare, and what that does is allow other players to come into your game to help you out with defeating a monster. So overall, the load times in the game aren't too bad. I'm having a blast with it. It's just that initial learning curve, and there's a lot more for me to learn. Just the initial learning curve, learning basic information, can put you off a little bit. It can put somebody off if you're not really sure on what to do or how to do it. I think understanding is probably half the battle in this game. So, all right, so your SOS. One of the things that I didn't realize, and again on the PS4, if I hit L1, it brings up, you have these shortcuts, and you have like 1, 2 communication, and then this is where you have all of your gestures and all of that good stuff, and you can set that up. See how if you click down on it and just let go, as you're holding down, you got to continue to hold down on L1, and then click down, and he does his little signal or greeting, so he's waving, or they talk. You see the dialogue on the right side. And then if you continue to hold down, because you got to continue to hold that L1 down, otherwise that shortcut menu goes away. You go up to press up on your D-pad, go to shortcut 1. See, you can set these, and you're probably asking, well, how the hell do you set your shortcuts? And that's a whetstone. You got to make sure to sharpen your blade, as you can tell up in the top left corner, as he was doing. I'm going to do it again so you can see it, because your blade will dull. See the little green bar? That's your blade. Once it dulls down, you're not going to be able to do much damage, if any at all. So you got to make sure to keep an eye on that and sharpen your weapon. But yeah, in order to take and right here, again, I found this out just by looking through the menus. Hit your options menu, go down to customize radial menu. Once you get here, you can set your presets and then add those in off the menu on the right if you want to change those, or go down to like shortcut 2, you can add them. If I want to add something in, I can click on it, go over here, and let's just say we're going to add in binoculars. Okay, so I've added that in. And now if I go back, let's get out of that menu. Left, L1. I'm on shortcut 2. As you can see the radio wheels up. And if I use my right thumbstick and go over into that direction, there's the binoculars. So just real useful information. This is a really cool item right here to where you put on. It's like a cloak and it kind of hides you. You'll get this as you progress through the game, but it hides you from the monster so they can't see you. So a little camo. Let's see. Go back to shortcut 1. Default menu for me, this came up. This is your SOS flare. So I'm going to do this real quick to kind of show you. Again, all you have to do is hit L1, hold it down, and then take your right thumbstick. Hit no real quick. Take your right thumbstick and click down and release, and then it'll automatically initiate or activate that option for you. In this case, it's the SOS flare, so I can hit SOS flare, and then boom, it shoots up a flare, and it says SOS flare fired, and basically that allows players to come into my game. If you want to cancel that, same thing. Make sure you're on the correct shortcut. Hit L1, hit down, in my case on the thumbstick, and it says cancel your SOS flare if you want to cancel it. So just again, a few different pointers that may help you when you get to your camp. Make sure to check out your item box. If you're doing a quest, there should be some basic supplies in there. You can talk to your handler if you wish, and also this is your tent to where you can make changes before you head out on your quest. And this is your gathering area here. If you didn't do a buff or make a meal, you might want to do that here. Basically, yeah, right here, the mini canteen. So if you missed the big canteen, which is on the 3rd floor, I believe, of the main city, the main area at the beginning, you can do it here. I would suggest making sure that you spend the money, do the buffs. They do help out, because if you pay with money, you can go through here. As you can see, I can increase health 30, stamina 25, and that also helps my pallet go out. And predicated on what you do and what type of items you have will indicate the types of buffs that you get. And you can also create your own custom platter. So I don't know, hopefully some of these little tips will help you guys out if you're starting out. I mean, the best advice I can give at this point is to get in the game, read the prompts, make sure you understand the tutorials as they give them to you, and then search around. Come out here. I would say do some expeditions, like where I'm at right now, because it doesn't hurt you in any way. So that way, if you fail a mission, which you're not doing a mission, but if you fail a mission, then you don't lose the money for that mission. You can come out here, do the exploration, the expeditions, get an idea of how your weapons handle in the quote-unquote real world after you train with them, because you might find that you train with them, you're not against live monsters, and then you come out here and the monsters move around. They're not stationary like back in the training camp, and you may not like the way that weapon handles, but find a weapon that works for you. Armor wise, I mean, that's going to be one of those things to where as you progress through the game, you're going to find certain armors that work better against specific monsters, and you'll want to apply those. Or you may just like a certain outfit because it looks cool, and you may want to stick with that one. Probably not advisable, but hey, to each their own. So anyway, like I said, this is just a real basic tutorial on things that I kind of struggled with, things that I didn't understand as I was going through the game. If it helped you guys out, hit that like button for me. Let me know. Leave some comments in the comment section if you guys have any additional tips that might help me out. I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have an awesome weekend.